What is going on, you guys? It is your boy Cyrus Obsidian here at Obsidian Games, here to bring you another episode of our local diaries. So let us dive right in. So for today's locals, we are continuing on with SUDA. We are playing another deck that did get support, and I have been dying to try this out. I regretted playing this deck years ago with the Virtual World engine. It was really good. It was pretty okay. But now we're actually playing it the way it's meant to be played. So we are playing Swordsoul Tenyi. Since Tenyi did get some new support and it is really good, we're going to take this deck into our locals to see how well we can do with it. It is really budget, really rogue. So let me show you the deck profile and then we'll head on out. So after some extensive testing, this is the deck profile that we decided to go with. So to start off, we'll start off with our Swordsoul engine. We are playing 3 copies of Swordsoul Moyi, with 2 copies of Swordsoul Taya, and 3 copies of Swordsoul Strategist Long Yuan. We rounded out with 3 copies of Incredible Ecclesia, the Virtuous, as she is our honorary Swordsoul, gets us into all of our Swordsoul names, so we're pretty good on that track. And then we're playing 3 copies of Swordsoul Emergence, and 1 copy of Swordsoul Blackout. So I think this is a pretty standard Swordsoul line. The way we play the deck is a little bit different with the Tenyi engine than it used to be played in the past, at least from my research and deck testing. Since Tenyi did get support, the new support is actually really good, so we're still continuing on with 3 copies of Tenyi Spirit Ashina, and we're only playing 2 copies of Tenyi Spirit Tsuruya. So I went back and forth between 3 copy, 2 copy, 3 copy, 2 copy, but I think playing 2 is the safer bet because you don't want to always see it, but you do want to see it enough. And so 2 is so far where I felt most comfortable playing it at. We are then playing it with 2 Tenyi Spirit Adhara, 2 Vishuddha, and 1 copy of Mapura. So I like Mapura's graveyard effect, it being able to be a effect negation. I think will come in clutch, or at least handy enough. Then we do follow it up with the second newest card for Tenyi Infinity. We only need 1 copy of this. It helps us get into either one of our 2 copies of Heavenly Dragon Circle or one of our 2 copies of Vessel for the Dragon Cycle. I wanted to play more than just 1 copy of it because these are really good. You want to see them as quickly as you can and as often as possible to help out with your combo and your deck strategy, because this is still kind of like more of a control, break the board and just go with it rather than a combo deck. So playing Tenyi this way I think is going to be a lot better. So we'll also see how well that does. And then our final monster card that we do play in the deck is Arch Nemesis Protoss. Protoss is just a win con against a lot of different decks. Against Ryzeal, called Light. Against Malice, called Dark. If we were still in a fire format, call Fire. The deck is Protoss is going to be our win con most of the times tonight. We do follow it up with 3 copies of Pot of Desires, just that way we can see a lot of our engine. And then rather than play hand traps, since this deck is more or less a board breaker deck, we decided to go with 3 copies of Chalice and 3 copies of Droplet in the main. I think these are going to be a lot more useful than playing hand traps per se, because you get a lot of advantage using these, sending the Tenyi names to the grave with Droplet, Chalice being a infinite impermanence but a little bit better, being more reactive, so that way you're not having to bait Duo Drive or Detonator. You wait for them to activate it, then you go Chalice, because if you preemptively imperm it, that's the whole reason why I chose Chalice. Was for those matchups specifically. Onto the extra deck, we are playing pretty standard. 2 copies of Boxia, 2 copies of Shishao, 1 Draco Berserker the Tenyi, 1 Dragite, and then 1 copy of the new Mula Adhara. So Mula Adhara is really good as it gets you into our field spell, and any field spell for that matter, which is awesome. We only do play the 1 field spell, but it's cool knowing that a generic synchro monster can get you in a field spell. Next, we do play 1 copy of Xiao Fang with 1 copy of Evil Long Yuan and 1 copy of Shengyi for our synchro lineup. We do follow it up with 3 copies of Monk definitely need to play 3 copies of Monk. There's no argument there. Just Monk is really great at getting all your Tenyi stuff live. Then we do play 1 Shaman and 1 Shahasarara. As this is like going to be your protection, you know, get this up with as soon as possible to help your Tenyis and your rest of your combo just resolve, since you can't target it as long as you control an effect monster or non-effect monster. So that's it for the extra deck. The side deck is really interesting too. I decided to keep with the board breaker approach, but we did put in 1 hand trap, and I think that hand trap can be justified as Nibiru. Nibiru is just really good in this format right now, so there's no question about not wanting to play it. Then we do play 3 copies of Thrust with 2 copies of Talents. So I like the addition of Thrust into Talents, because Thrust can get you into Talents or into any of the other names that you do play, which we do play 1 call by 4 of the hand traps if we are feeling that we need it. 3 copies of Evenly, and then our Thrust targets being 1 D Barrier, 1 Different Dimension Ground, and 1 Mischief of the Gnomes. So you can play around different Dimension Ground since you're not having to like send stuff to your grave on your turn. Mischief in the Gnome, D Barrier, just shut off instant win against Ryzeal. Same thing with Different Dimension Ground if they're playing the Fiendsmith engine, and even like the Mitsurugi engine. Both those do get hurt. And then Evenly Matched is just really good at breaking the board against Ryzeal still. Against Malice, they can play around it, but well, that's it for this deck profile. Let's take it to locals and see how we do.
All right, you guys. So here we are at Duke City. We just got finished up with round 2. There's still about like 15 minutes left in time. So game 1, round 1, we play against Fiendsmith, Chimera, Illusion, Azumina, Pile Fiend, I guess. Game 1, he won the die roll, so he goes first. We tried to break his board with all the Tenyi and the Swordsoul stuff. We didn't do great. It was a little bit back and forth. He was able to take it. Game 2, we went first. He hit my critical junctures where I needed it most. We were able to just stall a little bit, but it wasn't enough. Having Protoss in hand was not good. Having it in our starting hand, shall I say, was not good. So we ended up taking the L in game 2. Round 2, game 1, we play against Lab Stun. And you know my feelings of Labyrinth. He goes first. He is able to solidify a board. We're playing through Skill Drain, but we're able to crack his board with the Tenyis, and then eventually bring into Synchroing with his Swordsoul, and we're able to go pretty far. And we're able to take lethal before he had a turn. Had a second turn. Game 2, he opts to go first again. He sets, and we just opened up 2 Evenlies, dropped 1, broke his board. We went to normal summon Moyi after we added it with Emergence. He striked it, and we used its effect. So we thankfully kept Long Yuan in hand. We were able to burn him with Long Yuan, and we were just able to keep going off that. We kept Evil Long Yuan on the board, and we just burned him till he had nothing left. We were able to take round 2. We're 1-1, looking at 4 rounds tonight. So we'll see where we go up. We're 1-1. So only way to find out how good Tenyi Swordsoul is. All right, so round 3. Play against a deck I also don't like playing against. Runic Stun. Game 1, he goes first. I had a hard time breaking his board. We grinded until we had 14 minutes left in game 1, and I gave him the game. I thought I could beat him with Shen Ying. I had a lethal on board, and he flips goes him. Game 2, I sided in evenly because that's my only form of backrow removal. I opened it. I went first. I set up Protoss, Evil Long Yuan, with Monk, pass. I had Blackout and evenly set. I was able to clear. I was able to control it. I was controlling the game as best as I could. And he started floodgating me, started popping my stuff. Just floodgate after floodgate. We were playing through. And then time was called, and he had boosted my life points to 10,000. So I ended up taking the win to end in a draw. So 1-1-1, not too bad, not too bad. Wish it was better, and I wasn't playing against Stun for the past 2 rounds. But it's okay. It's what happens. What happens. We're in a format where Stun just, I don't even know what Stun will do against Ryzeal and Malice, to be honest. It's great against all the rogue strategies like ours, Last and final round, we play against Thunder Dragon Azamina, essentially just Floodgate. So game one, he opens up first. He sets up his full combo. Can't break it. Game two, we go ahead and take it. We go first, and we go into Protoss as much as we can. Lock him out of his darks, so he can't go into Colossus, Titan, SP, any of his Bestials. His Azamina package, we shut him out from that entirely. We controlled the tempo, we killed him. Game two, he went first again, and he set up his full board, set one, pass. We had evenly, so we were just going to evenly it all away. We go evenly. He changed SP, and then he goes D-Barrier, call Synchro. So floodgated twice with Colossus, because he kept Colossus on board. And we've shooted it out of the way, but then just since he had D-Barriered us calling Synchro, we were just dead in the water, so we just pass and he just kills us for a game. So Battle of Floodgates all night. Some days when you just play against Floodgate decks, you really just want to rethink your choices about why did I play this game, and been like, you know what, I should have just played Malice. Just say screw you all. But we end the night 1-2-1, 1 win, 2 loss, 1 draw. So we ain't topping. There's no chance. So we'll just cut our video here short. My honest review on Tenyi Swordsoul, I love the deck. The deck is so fun. It is definitely a grindy deck. Even playing against all the Floodgate decks, we were able to grind. We were able to keep some momentum going, and we just pushed through. Against some more combo heavy decks, you have to play your interruptions right, which is where I made my mistake in round one. Just not playing some of them right, going into wrong synchros when I should have gone into others, and so forth. But you live and learn. I think Tenyi Swordsoul for its price is a good pickup deck if you're wanting to play rogue at locals or even top like a regional. But that's just one man's opinion. There's more out there. But I'm gonna pass it over to you guys.